The Kurds are the world's largest nation without a state. At the same time, the average man knows almost nothing about this proud and mysterious people. Who are Kurds? Kurds are an ancient people uniting many tribes, which mainly inhabit the mountainous region of Western Asia, called Kurdistan. Modern Kurdistan is located in the territories of Turkey, Iraq, Iran and Syria. Kurds lead a semi-nomadic life. Their main occupations are cattle breeding and agriculture. Scientists haven't found out the exact origin of Kurds. The ancestors of the Kurds are also known as the Scythians and the ancient Medes. Scientists are proving the closeness of the Kurdish people to the Azerbaijani, Armenian, Georgian and Jewish people. Most of the Kurds are Muslims. There are also Christians, Jews and Yezidis. The exact number of Kurds is unknown. There are from 20 to 40 million Kurds in the world, 13 to 18 million live in Turkey, 3.5 to 8 million live in Iran, more than 6 million live in Iraq, almost 2 million live in Syria. And about 2.5 million live in European, Asian and American countries. The exact number of this people is unknown, because no census has ever been conducted in the regions inhabited by the Kurds. A trace of history. Kurdistan, due to its central geopolitical location in the Middle East, has been a theater of wars of conquest, internecine strife, and plundering raids since Mesopotamian times. During the Arab conquest, most Kurds converted to Islam. Under the Abbasid dynasty of Arab caliphs, which came to power in 750, all Muslims of other peoples were equalized with the Arabs. This led to peace in the caliphate, and non-Arab peoples had more opportunities for political careers. Apparently, the Kurds got along well with the Arabs, because their compatriot Jabin Sahabi was an associate of the Prophet Muhammad. After the collapse of the caliphate and the invasion of the Turks, a Kurdish nation-state was never established. However, descendants of this people often became rulers of other nations. They founded the Ayyubid dynasty, which ruled in the Middle East in 1169 to 1525, and the Shaddadid dynasty, which ruled in Transcaucasia in the 11th to 12th centuries. In the 16th century, Kurdistan was divided between the Turks, who took over almost the entire Middle East, and the Persians. For centuries, the Kurds played a significant role in the border wars between Turkey and Iran. And the rulers of both countries did not interfere in the internal affairs of Kurdistan, where local affairs were run by tribal leaders. But the Safavid dynasty, founded by the Kurds, ruled from the beginning of the 14th century in the Iranian province of Azerbaijan, and in 1501 to 1722 and 1729 to 1736 the whole of Persia. A national state of the Kurds never existed. This hypothesis does not correspond to the truth. History knows several national Kurdish states. The most enduring of them was Ardalan Khanate, which was located in the border areas of the Ottoman Empire and Persia, and stopped its existence only in the 19th century. At different times, starting from the 16th century, the Khanate became a vassal state in relation to the Ottoman Empire or Persia, and at times it was completely independent. The later state formations created by the Kurds were not recognized by the world community and existed for a very short time. Ararat Kurdish Republic, self-proclaimed state of the Kurds, was on the territory of modern Turkey, existed in 1927 to 1930. The Kingdom of Kurdistan, self-proclaimed state, created on the territory of modern Iraqi Kurdistan, existed in 1921 to 1924. Mehabad Republic, self-proclaimed Kurdish state in Iranian Kurdistan, lasted only 11 months in 1946. The Kurdish question. Organized Kurdish resistance to self-determination and the creation of an independent Kurdistan clearly begins only in the 19th century and intensified in the 20th century. This was due to the oppression and repression of the Kurdish people by the ruling regimes, sometimes with the aim of forced assimilation. The most serious clashes occurred in Turkey during the rule of Mustafa Kemal Ataturk. The promises of increased freedoms and autonomy made to the Kurds in exchange for support in the War of Independence were not fulfilled after victory. Iraqi Kurdistan currently has the most autonomy, which it received after the overthrow of Saddam Hussein, and the Kurdish Jalal Hussamadin Talabani was president of Iraq from 2005 to 2014. The war in Syria, or rather its end and the subsequent possible democratization, opens up for the Syrian Kurds the possibility of autonomy. Turkey remains the fiercest opponent of Kurdish self-determination, fearing Kurdish separatism in Turkey itself. Who are the Peshmerga? Peshmerga, the Kurdish self-defense militia, is often in the news headlines about military events in the Middle East. Life in constant danger has accustomed Kurds to always be ready for war, and in recent decades the threat from radical Islamists has multiplied. Self-defense units were created in the late 19th century and since then have proven themselves in all conflicts that have affected the territory of Kurdistan in one way or another. Literally, Peshmerga means facing death. The image of the modern Peshmerga warrior as a bearded man with an AKM does not correspond to reality. Today they are well-equipped men, and the units themselves represent practically a regular army with heavy artillery and armored vehicles. The Peshmerga formations are recognized as one of the most combat-ready forces in the Middle East, with 150,000 to 200,000 fighters. The famous Eastern ruler and commander Saladin was a Kurd. Few people know that Sultan Saladin, the founder of the Ayyubid dynasty and ruler of virtually the entire Middle East and North Africa in the 12th century, was a Kurd. He is known in Europe under the name Saladin, primarily as a talented commander and leader of the Saracens in their confrontation with the Crusaders.